Hey guys, it's Jasmine, aka Jasmine's Arch, and I am your brow expert because I've been doing eyebrows for 20 years, so I've seen a lot of eyebrows. And today is going to be so much fun because, as you guys can clearly tell, my brows are so uneven. I drew in a couple of little lines right in the front of this eyebrow because I get a lot of clients that do have one side of the eyebrow where there's like this kind of hair flaring out this way and the other one just laying down, and so that creates more of that uneven look. So it's going to be a little extra tip here. Okay, so first let's address the obvious, right? These little hairs going this way. I usually tell my clients just embrace it, love it. It's what makes you unique, right? And it's hard to fix that because when the hairs grow this way, you don't want to pull all that hair because then you're going to have this huge gap and that doesn't look good. And if you trim too much or cut, that looks really bad. And I think some of you guys have tried this and it doesn't look good. So either you just leave it and just embrace it, or go to a professional like myself and get those little corners trimmed a little bit. Otherwise, you guys can make this one just a little bit higher just to kind of balance it out with the other one. So I've done some other tutorials where I help you guys map out the eyebrows, but for today we're just going to focus mainly on the most common uneven eyebrow, which is one side being higher and the other side being lower. The golden ratio on the Stassi Beverly Hills golden ratio. Okay, so the pinch of the nose and right in the middle of your iris, and it's going to be in the 90-degree angle right this way, see? And it's really going to go right here in the angle, not straight up, but right here in the angle. Because this one is lower, I'm just going to go with the high mark up here. So for the high side of the eyebrow, I'm going to make that line lower. And again, I'm going to use a pinch of the nose right in the middle of the iris, and I'm just going to go right this way. So you got this lower one going straight over my eyebrow, and this one just going a little bit higher, okay? Does that make sense? Sure it does. Okay, this is gonna help, trust me. Okay, so you guys with me? Make sure you save this, because if you don't have time to do this with me, this is where it gets a little easy because you made your mark. I'm just gonna use a brow powder. You can use a pencil, but because I put some concealer over my tattooed eyebrows, I will use a powder so that way it won't interfere with my little marks here and there. So you guys ready? Okay, so remember, this side is low, so you're gonna wanna go higher. And because you made that line here, you're just gonna reach a little bit higher, and you can always build and go higher and higher and higher later. So the idea is to just go right over here, because again, this is the lower part, right? So you wanna reach to that mark, and then you wanna cradle it down, but not too far down. Okay, so we got this little mark right here, and we're just focusing on creating that little higher mark right there, and it's looking already better, don't you think? Okay, so now let's go to the other side. Don't try to complete the whole eyebrow on one side, because you're gonna go like, okay, now I have to balance it somewhat. So make sure you go back and forth. That's another tip right there. Okay, so now, since this is automatically higher, you wanna go lower, right? So you wanna place the color right in underneath the eyebrow. So right here, you're gonna just place a little bit. You don't have to go too much. Again, you could always build and go lower if you need it to be thicker. So the idea is to just get as much color as you can, and using that little mark right there. And right as I get to this corner here, I'm gonna go a little bit underneath, not high, underneath that line right there. See? And just because I'm going a little bit lower here, it already is making sense. It's already balancing with the other side. So I'm just going right up in the front now, towards the front of the eyebrow. And you notice that it's more of a straight angle line, not rounded, right? Now it's looking a little bit more balanced. Now you're going, okay, but that front side is still lower and that little hair is up there. Now, there's two things you guys can do. You guys can place a little bit of color up here to go a little higher, but not too high up, of course. That's one. And me just doing this, you're like, oh, now it's almost looking even. You guys that would like to go a little bit more advanced, use the brow pen. Now I use this to draw these little hairs. Practice at this and see if you can draw a little bit of hairs, not so much going this way so you have this even look, but add a little hair right up here, and I'm just drawing these little lines going up in the front. Okay, so now you're seeing like this hair is too far over. You can always snip this little piece right there. Always know that if you have to trim a hair that's really that far out, you can just snip one hair. Just one. Because if you do a chunk, you guys know that doesn't look very good. So if you can try to isolate and get one little piece out, then go for it. And that's it. But again, it's just about balancing it, but not too even, because our brows aren't even. But we can certainly get it as closely related as possible. You erase this guy right here so you guys can get a little better view. Okay, so now I'm looking at my eyebrows. Make sure you look at the mirror head on, and then you're looking at it and going, okay, so this one's still a little lower. Well, that's okay. That's what I meant by building, right? So you just build right up here. If you guys have a highlighter on hand, you could also make this a little bit higher up here in the corner. And make this tail right here go out a little bit. Because again, this is the lower side. Remember, the lower side can use a little bit of height. And this is the higher side, so it can stand to be a tiny bit lower. Okay, not too bad. You guys now get the idea, right? Again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned something here. And again, send this to a friend of yours or a family or someone that you know can benefit from this. And until then, guys, have a great day. Bye.